I think one of the teams that's near and dear to my heart in watching NBA basketball, watching basketball for as long as I have, is the 2011 Mavericks. And it's near and dear because I believe it revolutionized the sport. And I'm not here to try and like shower compliments on it, but I do believe that team had an impact on what is now being played.
Oh, I mean, just the shooting threes,
just being able to surround a big like Dirk with 4 shooters essentially,
right,
and to be able to not only do that but beat the Heat in the way that you guys did. Talk to me about that team, and do you see it as revolutionary as well, or is that kind of hard for you to?
Yeah, I don't see it necessarily as revolutionary, but I see it as being opportunistic. I see it as being mentally strong, particularly Dirk. I see it as recognizing that we had veterans that understood the importance of what was going on. When a guy comes into the league, they want to win championships, but they have to find out who they are and how they fit. And when you get somebody like Dirk, who'd been in the league, 12, 13 years at that point and had already lost in the finals, and Jed and Peja and Karan, even though he wasn't playing at that time. We just had a lot of veterans, Steve, that really understood that you don't get many opportunities like this. And once we got past Portland and then the Lakers, it was like, we can't let this opportunity slide. And I think that's what made the team special, just the mental toughness. And I'd say part 2 to that is the fact that we were opportunistic. I remember preseason that year talking to Coach about playing an entire preseason game just playing zone. And the thought process was, well, teams aren't used to practicing against the zone, and they aren't used, so they won't necessarily know how to play against one. And we used that effectively throughout the entire year. And, Eastern Conference teams only played us twice, so they had no one else was playing zone, so they had really no reason to practice it. And I think that really gave us an advantage when we got to the Heat.
Yeah, no, it was that. Like I said, I mean, I think you look at like what the Golden State Warriors did, and like moving into what basketball is now, and I think it's kind of the first evolution of it.
And I will say the jack up the 3 thing. I think Don Nelson in the mid '90s. The records, when the Warriors and the Rockets started breaking those records, the records were set by the Mavs when we didn't have a very good team.
Yeah.
And we had George McLeod and who knows who else. And we were jacking up 43s a game in the 90s, and that was Nelly. I mean, he saw the obvious, which was a 3, you don't have to make as many to score.
Yeah.
And so, I give Nelly a lot of credit. And, they always called him the mad scientist and, said, he'd conjure up all kinds of crazy things. And, back then we just called him crazy. Now we use analytics to support, so it's data supported and evidence based. But Nelly had a great intuition to be able to figure that out.